Can I get in to get to that question?
Yeah. We have other questions?
We have a couple more coming.
Oh, you have a couple more coming. Perfect. Yeah.
So, if you weren't aware, no official informational or educational materials exist to explain interactions with law enforcement. Rights and responsibilities like comply, search rules, use of force rules, and others go undefined, and there's issues of confusion. So the same goes for interactions between people, situations like citizens arrest, other situations as well, who's in the right, who's in the wrong, that kind of thing. So language translations don't exist. There's no official translations. Neither states nor federal jurisdictions have translations. Not in Spanish, not in other languages, threshold languages for states. I think that most people, and what's being asked is, would you agree that lack of these informational updates and improvements is a barrier to equality, fairness, and inclusion in not only our justice system, but also our communities? Are you willing to look at options and draft legislation to bring these improvements to Congress?
Thank you. Okay. So I just want to make sure I have the question correctly. You're saying that right now, in terms of access to information to explain to people their rights as citizens when they interact with the police is only confined to English, and that's causing a lot of these issues. Is that right?
I need the mic back so everyone can hear. So I'm saying that educational materials don't exist. So if you want to go and look and say, what is my right as far as the law goes, you can look at azleg.gov and go to statutes, Title 13, and look at this information. Same across the country.
I gotcha.
There's no official translations that exist, but moreover, there is no educational materials. There are no educational materials to say when an officer does this or that, this may be excessive, that may be excessive. To say that you have the right to refuse to answer certain questions. You have the responsibility to comply if an officer says stop. When these kids get shot, it's not always known that the situations that happen are going to result in that. And so what's being asked is, would you be willing to look at, I have a letter here, it's kind of a long letter.
It's okay.
But what's being asked is, would you be willing to look at drafting legislation to require, and this is in talks, I've been talking with state legislation, Judicial Committee, Walter Blackman, about getting some legislation passed that would require this state to create an educational program. What I would like to see is that at least a committee be put together, or you do a little bit of research to see if you could draft legislation.
So I will look at that. I know right now there are definitely some requirements. Anything that is written by the government has to be translated into at least Spanish, and then whatever language is the predominant minority language of the area. But we'll check to see if that's not happening, because it could, just because it's the law doesn't mean it happens, right?
Well, if you go to ushouse.code and look up federal codes, you don't see it translate this.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Let me go check on it, because if it's not, then we should make it happen. The other area that you were talking about in terms of education, so Reginald Boulding, the state representative for this area, passed a bill a couple years ago to teach students about police interactions, to start, so that way, especially in communities of color, especially young black men who have adverse police interactions, this is a good opportunity for them. This is why Reggie passed it, to actually have that. So there is something already on the books that's happening right now. But Reginald Boulding, yeah. And so there's more. Now, there's a lot more work too that can be done. So this is why we're supporting the George Floyd Act. It passed the House. It's died in the Senate. We're still going to be looking at more and more reforms. Obviously, there's clearly issues, and then and when it comes to citizens arrest, I mean, the days of citizens arrest, we just can't have anymore. When you have citizens arrest, if you see what happened in Georgia, that was quote unquote a citizens arrest. It's very dangerous. You have a right to defend yourself and your home without a doubt, right? Like, that's, no one's denying that. But a citizen's arrest it's in this day and age is very dangerous, and I just think that we need to move beyond that. I don't believe Arizona has citizen arrest statute, but other places do. Next one.
But can I ask?
Yeah.
Can you get into the specific details of what is defined that Reginald Boulding is?
No, you have to talk to. And I have more questions though.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
follow up with you.
Mr. Gallego, if you could hold on to that, I've handed it to your staff several times and I've never got a reply.
Oh well, no, it's better you hand it my staff because I lose stuff all the time. So to be honest, but we will follow up. Yeah.
Question?
A few minutes later.
Mr. Gallego, which staff were can I ask about finding that specific law that Reginald Boulding passed? And is that something? I know you mentioned black men, but I'm referring to education that's required in schools and.
Yeah, this goes to school. Talk to Lynn and see if she can get you the information.
The following audio is hard to hear. If you skip to 8 minutes and 40 seconds, you will pick up where the conversation is relevant.
For Reginald Boulding, the specific law that you passed requires education.
I don't, but we have your contact info on the card and we'll follow up. Thank you for expressing your concerns. We will be sure to follow up. But I can have his contact info. I can also send it to you.
That's what I was thinking. Was that I'll contact him because I've been speaking with Walter Biden, who's a member of the Judiciary Council. I've met with several of them. I met with Landon.
You're taking the right path. It starts at the state level and then federal.
Right, but I think there was some confusion. So Arizona has this law, or for what's being Nevada has this law, California has this law. This education is being provided to everybody, and not just states, but federal jurisdictions create these materials, maintain them, and provide them in some form. Right, so the question I asked was, Congressman, we have would you be willing to look at drafting something? What does he need to see? I know that we can only do in Arizona and Texas.
Right.
But again, what's being asked. So
We'll reiterate that to him. We have the information and let's pass it on to the policies team.
okay. I'm wondering if maybe that for another segment, how would you think that I might be able to reword this, rephrase it? I don't know what his thoughts or feelings are, kind of the way that he handled it. It's almost like he didn't understand that I was referring to making sure that all Americans have his rights.
We have your letter here. We wanted to make sure to make it clear, and if we have questions, we can clarify it too.
I've written this office, called this office half a dozen times, no response.
I'm so sorry about that.
It's been in a year, and so what are the other options? I mean, if I need to call and leave my phone number, will I get a reply back?
Yeah, I don't know what happened with previous calls, but I'll look into it and make sure that whatever's happening and we're not getting that, I will fix it. Because we have interns sometimes taking calls, and they're learning, so they might have listened. We have your info now, so we'll give you a call.
Okay.
Thank you. I need to start wrapping up here.
No, I do understand that, but it will take less time to figure out where we can come. You can give me a timeline, as opposed to me going out and saying, we got to call in the office, we got to call in the office, so we got to call in the office, and then y'all got to go through messages.
And I'll give you a call back this week. But other than that, I can't give you a timeline.
That's good for me. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Lynn.
Miss Cordova. I will look at 512. It's also. Thank you.